Hi, I am here to read the part 4 of Legend of the Jews, dealing with Jehoshaphat, who was thrown into the pit by his brothers because they were very angry with him. They were very hateful towards him because of all of the many things that he had done, and they were just tired, just tired. Can you imagine? You have a father that you also love, but your father seems just to only love one son. And he has 11 sons. Not only 11 sons, but he also has a daughter. But this one son gets all the attention, all the love, all the showering. And not only does he get all the showering of love, he goes and he runs and he tells his dad all kinds of lies about you, ruining your reputation, making your father think that you're just some no good, cruel somebody, and you're not. And to think about your brother doing that over and over again, and not only to you, but to all your brothers, all of them, and all of them needing and wanting the love of a father, and they feel that they can't get it because you're around. So let's continue where I left off about them casting Joseph in a pit. So he went about his father's errand to try to see about the welfare of his brothers and the welfare of the flock, the sheep and the goats, because his father didn't have any idea what had happened to them because he hadn't heard from them in a while. And they had been gone for a number of days. And he was thinking that could a war have broken out against them? I know that they went to take the sheep near Shechem, and there was a place of a very bloody battle, of which Simeon and Levi went into that city, and they massacred the people of the city because of their sister Dinah. So here we go. And so Joseph, he went by day to try to find his brothers in Shechem. And when he got to Shechem, he couldn't find them. He didn't see them anywhere. You know what I'm saying? He didn't see his brothers, nor did he even see the herd. And so that made him have to go on to try to seek other pasturing places, try to find other places where his brothers might have gone. And in the process of him trying to find another pasture place, all of a sudden he was lost. He got lost in the wilderness, and he didn't even know where he was going. And who knows, maybe a night was coming, and his dad, and he had to remember that his dad told him, remember, son, I don't want you traveling at night, but I want you to make sure that you travel in the daytime. But the Most High remembered that Jehoshaphat had a plan. And so he sent Gabriel, the Malachim from on high, down to meet with Jehoshaphat. So Gabriel came, and he came in a human shape, and he appeared to Jehoshaphat. And when he came, he asked him a question. He said, "What are you seeking? What are you looking for?" And Jehoshaphat, he replied to him, and he said, "Well, I'm looking for my brothers." And the angel said, "Well, where to?" The angels replied. He said, "But your brothers have given up the spirit of divine qualities, and they no longer have any love, and they no longer have any mercy for you. But I'm going to tell you that by divine revelation, they learned that the Hivites were planning to make war against them. Therefore, they departed from this place, and they went and departed to another place called Dothan. And then they had to leave this place also for other reasons. He said, and I also heard while I was standing behind the curtains of the veils of the divine throne, that this day the Egyptian bondage would begin, and that you would be the first to be subjected to it. Then Gabriel led Jehoshaphat to Dothan. And I'm pretty sure that they were busy tending their flocks. And then they looked up from afar away and they saw their brother Joseph. And that enraged them when they saw him, because by him being so far, maybe it was his coat that they recognized. That beautiful coat that his father made for him, and only for him, the coat of many colors. And they probably looked at him standing afar off in the sun, looking at his beauty, his handsomeness. And they looked and they said, oh, here comes that dreamer. So when they saw him, that dreamer, that talebearer, that liar coming, they began to conspire one with another. They began to conspire about how they wanted to kill him, how they were going to slay him. And then while he was afar off and as he was coming, they had thought upon, this is what we'll do first. We'll get the dogs and we'll set the dogs upon him. Because they were thinking if they set the dogs upon him, how the dogs would just gnaw upon him with their teeth and they would tear him apart, and they just probably visualized that all the blood and visualized that they wouldn't have a problem with him anymore. That their dead would not have to have a favorite son and put him far above the rest of his children. And Simeon spoke to Levi. Those two together, they're what I would call a dynamic duo. They will tear up some stuff. They looked afar off and they said, behold, the master of dreams cometh with new dreams. They were sick of his dreams. He whose descendants Jeroboam will introduce the worship of Baal. Come now, therefore, let us go and slay him, that we may see what becomes of all of his dreams. But the Most High spoke, and he said, you say, we shall see what become of his dreams, and I say, likewise, we shall see, and the future shall show whose words will stand, yours or mine. And Simeon and Gad set about to slay Jehoshaphat, and he fell upon his face and entreated them, have mercy on me, my brethren, have pity on the heart of my father Jacob. Lay not your hands upon me to spill innocent blood. Don't do it, for I have done no evil unto you. I have done no evil. As I had talked about before, Simeon and Gad had set about to slay Joseph. And he fell on his face and he entreated them. And he said, have mercy on me. My brethren, have pity on the heart of my father Jacob. Lay not your hands upon me to spill innocent blood. For I have done you no evil. What evil have I done? What evil have I done to you? But if I have done evil unto you, then chastise me with a chastisement. But your hands lay not upon me. Oh, why did I have to do that in the middle of reading? They lay not upon me. For the sake of our father, Jacob. These words, they touched Zebulun. And he began to lament, and he began to weep, and he wailed of Joseph, rose up together, his wailing and the wailing of Jehoshaphat, it rose up together with his brothers. And when Simeon and Gad raised their hands against him to execute their evil design, Jehoshaphat took refuge behind Zebulun, and he supplicated his other brothers to have mercy upon him. Then Reuben, I guess Reuben began to feel a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe he began to feel a little bit bad about what was going on. And then he thought about he was the oldest. And so Reuben arose and he said, brethren, let us not slay him, but let us cast him into one of those dry pits, which our father dug without finding water. Let's do that. And that was due to the providence of the Most High. He had hindered the water from rising in them in order that the day would come that Jehoshaphat's rescue might be accomplished. And the pits remained dry until Joseph was safe in the hands of the Ishmaelites. And Reuben, he had several other reasons for interceding on behalf of Jehoshaphat. He knew that he was the oldest of his brethren and that he would be held responsible by their father if any evil befell Jehoshaphat. And besides, Reuben was grateful to Jehoshaphat for having reckoned him among the 11 sons of Jacob in narrating his dream of the sun and the moon and the stars. Since his disrespectful bearing towards Jacob, he had not thought himself worthy of being considered one of his sons because he had went into the room of his father's wife and he saw her nakedness. And first Reuben tried to restrain his brethren from their purpose, and he addressed them in words full of love and words full of compassion. But when he saw that neither the words nor entreaties would change their intentions, he begged them, saying, my brother, at least hearken unto me in respect of this, that you be not so wicked and cruel as to slay him and murder him, to slay and murder him. Lay no hand upon your brother, shed no blood, and cast him into a pit that is in the wilderness, and let him perish there. It sounded like a good idea. They wouldn't have to be bothered with him. They could throw him in a pit and he would die there. Maybe something would kill him there. One thing for sure, they wouldn't be bothered with him anymore. So they kind of went along with that for a brief moment. Then Reuben went away from his brethren and he hid in the mountains. He was thinking that, okay, I will hide so that I might be able to hurry up and get back, to hasten back in a favorable moment and draw Joseph from the pit and restore him to our father. And he hoped his reward would be pardon for his transgression that he had committed against his father Jacob and against his foster mother, stepmother, whatever we want to call her. Oh my goodness, but his good intentions was frustrated because when he went to the pit, his brother wasn't there. And yet Reuben was rewarded by the Most High, for the Most High gives a recompense not only for good deeds, but for good intentions as well. And as he was the first of his brethren, the first of the brethren of Jehoshaphat to make an attempt to save him, so the city of Bezer in the tribe of Reuben was the first of the cities of refuge appointed to safeguard the life of the innocent that would seek help. And furthermore, God spake to Reuben, saying, as you was the first to endeavor to restore a child to his father, so Hosea, your descendant, shall be the first to endeavor to lead Israel back to the Heavenly Father. Now the brethren accepted Reuben's preposition, and Simon seized Jehoshaphat and cast him into a pit that was swarming with snakes and scorpions, and besides which was another unused pit. And it was filled with offal, filled with entrails of dead animals that were rotting. I'm pretty sure that was such a terrible sight. And maybe it was a fearful sight for Joseph being down there in the dark in a pit and thinking about how his brothers were treating him so cruelly, how they were torturing him, thinking about what they were saying while they were standing over him and listening to Simeon and Levi taking stones and throwing stones upon him and trying to get the rest of his brothers to throw stones, great stones upon him, that he died. As though this were not enough torture. Again, they wanted to fling those great stones on him. But you know what? In the later years, when Jehoshaphat became a great man of great stature in Egypt, and he didn't deal with his brother Simeon in a very wrathful way. But Jehoshaphat showed all the forgiving charitableness of his nature when Simeon was held in durance in Egypt as a hostage. Jehoshaphat, so far from bearing him a grudge, ordered crammed poetry to be set before him at all his meals. Not satisfied with exposing Jehoshaphat to the snakes and the scorpions, his brothers had stripped him bare before they flung him into the pit. They took off his coats of many colors, his upper garments, his breeches, and his shirt. However, the reptiles could do him no harm.